Honestly, weight management has been a struggle all my adult life, and menopause only made it worse. Today we're going to talk about that, menopausal weight gain, some possible causes, and some potential solutions. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you joined me for this sticky conversation. We're gonna really get real today, ladies, and hits really close to home because it may look to you that I'm all fit and I can wear all the clothes, but honestly, I'm just an average woman. I am very average, in fact. I am 5'8" and I weigh about 155 on a good day, and there are a lot of days that aren't that good. And I've had to work at that all my life. I've been up and down like so many of us. I generally wear a size 8, so I'm not tiny. I'm not a skinny little thing. And I work hard with my weight management, and yet I'm also very human. I love my bread and my pasta, and I love sweets, and it's just not easy. So today I thought we would talk about menopausal weight gain, some solutions that I'm trying and that you might want to try too. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kay. I blog at dressformyday.com, where I encourage women, mostly 50 and above, simply to get dressed for our unique days. I just want us to show up big so that we can be there for the people in our lives who need us. But let's go ahead and get started on today's topic, menopausal weight gain. Da-da-da-dum. That is not fun, but you know what? Neither is trying on clothes when you don't feel good about yourself. Neither is going to the doctor and getting on the scales and then getting the bad news. And it's a struggle, it's hard. And while I've always had to work at maintaining my weight, menopause really did throw a wrench in things and make things even harder. And there's a reason for that, it turns out. Now, before we go much further, let me say to you, I think I just have to, even though I think you know this, I am not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare provider, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not even a fitness coach. I am just a woman just like you who has been working through this, like I said, really all my adult life, and have gone through menopause and dealt with all of that, extra situation too. But I am a woman who does my research, and I'm a woman who is always bent on trying to find a solution. And here's what I've realized is I can't work the plan unless I know what the problem is. And so I've done a lot of research to find out what is it that causes us to gain extra weight, often around the middle region, during or after or even before menopause. And I found that there are basically 5 different things that are like the big things that they say could potentially cause weight gain around menopause. And some of them have to do with menopause and others actually don't. So I thought we'd talk about those 5 potential causes, and then I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing, what my plan is to fix those situations in my own life, and you might want to do the same. All right, so the first potential cause for menopausal weight gain is simply that we lose a lot of muscle as we age. And muscle burns fat. It keeps our metabolism going. It makes it where we can eat. And so we want muscle also, though, just so that we can continue to be strong and healthy and be there for our spouse, for our kids and our grandkids and those around us. So we need that muscle mass. There are potentially 4 different causes for why we lose muscle mass too, because see, we don't have to do that. We can be proactive and keep this from happening, or we can actually even correct the situation. But one of the potential reasons that we lose so much muscle is just, of course, immobility. And that could be simply that we slow down at this age, or it could be because of an illness or a physical factor you've had to slow down. And so immobility factors in. Another thing that factors in, though, is an unbalanced diet. And as our nest empties of our kids and we go back to cooking for 2 or cooking for 1, sometimes we don't eat as well, and nutrition matters. A third thing that causes us to lose muscle mass is extreme stress. And we've been through stress, right? I mean, we've had a stressful year this year, but also just in life. These are stressful years. And stress eats at our muscles by affecting our hormones. And then a fourth thing that can cause us to lose muscle mass is inflammation. And so if you are battling with something like osteoporosis or arthritis, or you've had an injury of some sort, and you have inflammation, then that stress causes a breakdown of muscle tissue. But we can do something about that. We can begin to build muscle if we've never really worked at that, or we can correct the situation. Now there's really, once again, only two things that are going to do that, and the two things that we have to do. And one of those is resistance training. We have to use those muscles, but it's not just enough to use them in an everyday way. We really do have to add some resistance training, whether that's using resistance bands or your own weight or using weights. And I have found for me that using something like resistance bands, using my own weights in things like push-ups and sit-ups, but also using dumbbells is so important. I've always used weights. I've lifted weights all my adult life, but what I determined was I wasn't lifting heavy enough and I wasn't lifting in enough variations. Like I was training my muscles to do the same exercises every day or every 3 days. And our muscles have memory, so that wasn't enough. And I found out that if I want to really build muscle in these later years of my life, I've got to increase my weight resistance, and I've got to do more exercises. There are basically 3 things that we need to be eating also in order to build muscle. We need to be eating more protein. I try to get about 100 grams a day. That is so hard. That's a lot of protein. We also need to be eating more omega-3 fatty acids found in things like nuts and fish. And then we need to be eating more vitamin D. So either taking a supplement and of course eating things that have vitamin D in them. The second reason that we may be gaining weight around menopause is just we're moving less. We're just moving less. You know, we've raised our families, a lot of us. The kids are gone. We're no longer running after toddlers probably. We're no longer running kids back and forth to functions. We're no longer probably doing quite as much housekeeping as we used to do. So life has just gotten a little bit simpler. We're not moving as much. I even have a desk job at my house. And so it's really hard to get in a lot of movement. So my solution for that is I have a Fitbit. Now my husband actually bought us the Fitbits for Christmas. I have him to blame for that. But really this whole thing has been a lifesaver. We are able to cue our Fitbits or set them up so that every hour they remind us to get in at least 250 steps. That has been a huge eye-opener. I was not even doing that during the day, but now I am. Of course, we also can have goals such as how many steps we want to try to get in a day, how much time we want to get where we've raised our heart rate. So all those, even our sleep, it tracks our sleep too, but this little Fitbit is really helping me. You know what I found out is I could say I'm going to move more in a week or I'm going to move more in a day, but unless I have some mechanism, something to remind me, something to gauge my steps, something to really, know if I'm actually doing that, then I wasn't doing any differently than I had the week before. I found I have to have some equipment to make it happen. And so for me, the Fitbit works. Maybe you have some other way of doing that, but here's the goal. I encourage you, what I'm trying to do is to increase my steps or increase my mobility, increase my distance by 10% every month. And if I do that, studies show that that will help to reduce weight gain. It will slow that down. It will build my metabolism. It will get me going again, get that heart rate up, and really increase my health. The third thing that, of course, can affect our weight during menopause is hormone changes. Indeed, our hormones do change, and we stop producing certain hormones, and other ones amp up at this time of our life. Insulin is one of those things that our body can become resistant to and not handle correctly, and that causes us not to be able to burn fat the way we want to. In fact, our bodies can become insulin resistant, and that's not good. That leads to diabetes. So we want to really be careful about that. And that is why I do encourage you to have those annual physicals. It's so important to see our healthcare provider and to have blood tests and other tests done so that we can see how our body is doing. In fact, did you know that hormone changes are probably what result in that mid-weight gain, the weight gain that so many women experience right around the midsection? And the problem with that is subcutaneous fat, and that is actually the most dangerous kind. It means that fat is potentially even wrapping around critical organs. And so we want to be really careful about that. This is not just normal weight gain. This is weight gain that is probably caused by hormone shifts. Now, one of the ways, though, that we can help our bodies during this hormonal shifting time is with intermittent fasting. And all intermittent fasting is, it simply means that you have a certain period of time during your 24-hour day when you are fasting, or you're not eating anything and just having maybe black coffee and tea and water, and then you have a certain period of time when you are eating. So for me, I do intermittent fasting, and what I do is I eat for about 7 to 8 hours. I usually don't eat until 11 or 12. Around noon, and then I stop eating by 7 or 8 at night. And then the rest of the time, from that 8 o'clock at night until the next day at noon, I don't eat anything except black coffee and water. Fasting helps your body to regulate hormones such as insulin so that your body can burn fat reserves using that fat as your main energy source instead of sugar. Now, I began intermittent fasting about 3 years ago, and I did that through a program called the Faster Way to Fat Loss. Now, not only is that one of the components of Faster Way to Fat Loss, they use several other components that I'm actually mentioning today. But the reason I think it is so important to get into a program like that is because intermittent fasting is something that you really don't want to just play around with on your own. You need to make sure that you're eating enough of the right things during your eating window, and you're not just like depriving yourself. So the Faster Way to Fat Loss has really trained me. It's given me so much education and given me the tools so that I can work to manage my weight in a way that is wise and is healthy for my body. So I'll have links for the Faster Way to Fat Loss in the description box below, of course, and I will let you know these are affiliate links. If you join the Faster Way to Fat Loss, I actually do earn a commission, but I also want you to know I pay for the Faster Way to Fat Loss every month. That's how much I believe in this program. It really makes a difference for me. Culprit number 4 may be the good old American portion size. You know what, here in America, which is where I live, boy, we really have really huge portion sizes to begin with. But one of the things I had to just take personal responsibility for was I realized that after my kids had grown and left, then I just continued to cook for me and my husband the same way I had for a family of 4. And we just really enjoyed it. We would just continue to eat like all of that was for us all of a sudden. So we have both really had to learn to cut back, make our portion sizes smaller. We put away some for leftovers, or even freeze whatever is left over for another meal. And we've just learned to cook for 2 sometimes. So I think, just thinking about portion control is really important at this time of life. And culprit number 5 is stress. Stress is a huge factor in weight gain. Stress causes the hormone cortisol to be produced, and cortisol causes our body to hold on to fat and not burn it. And of course, we want to burn fat. We want to make muscle and burn fat. But cortisol is that stress hormone that holds on to fat. Not only that, but when we are stressed, when we are nervous, when we're not doing well in life, then we also don't sleep well. And there are 2 different hormones that have to do with sleep that really get messed up too. The hormone ghrelin is the hormone that causes us to feel hungry. When we don't get enough sleep, our body overproduces ghrelin. Conversely, when we sleep well, then our body produces a hormone called leptin. But if we're not getting enough sleep, our body does not produce enough of that hormone. And leptin is the hormone that actually tells us that we are satiated, we're full. So it really messes with our hormones if we're not getting enough sleep. And I've just kind of learned that at this time of life, as our lifestyles have changed, once again, we're maybe a little less active we had been before. We don't have the demands of family. And, we just get all messed up as far as our sleep. Maybe we're staying up too late. Maybe we are tossing and turning all night. Maybe we have a lot of stress just because of different things in our life, health concerns or concerns over our children or grandchildren. And stress is a huge culprit in holding on to fat. Now, here's another thing that I've learned, though, that causes stress in my life, and that is knowing that I don't have a plan to handle things. So there are so many things in life I can't control or I can't handle. But weight management was one of those things that was really stressing me out because I didn't have a plan. And honestly, that's where the faster way to fat loss came in for me. It became that tool, that mechanism that gave me a plan. And now that I work the plan, it's taken out that element of stress. I no longer have to worry about, well, am I eating the right things? Am I eating enough? Am I eating too much? Am I getting the right amount of exercise in? Because the Faster Way to Fat Loss is a program that's available on an app that you can work on your phone. But it also includes potential for accountability with a community and access to a coach. They really help you to be successful in managing your weight. On the app, you get daily workouts of all kinds, cardio, weight training, and things also like yoga and spinning and bar, all kinds of exercises. You get a weekly meal plan with menus and with recipes that are easy and that are versatile. They have vegan, vegetarian, and regular menus. And so the program just encapsulates the whole thing. It gives you workout programs as well as menus. But here's what I like the best about Faster Way to Fat Loss. It educates me. It keeps me knowledgeable so that I can handle this weight management issue at this menopausal time in life with the equipment I need, with the education I need. I know what I'm doing, and that is a huge stress reliever. So those are the 5 things that could be causing menopausal weight gain in your life and in my life. The loss of muscle, not moving enough, stress, overeating too much portions, and yes, hormone changes. But we can't blame it all on hormones, ladies, and we've got to take some responsibility for the things that we can change. And so those are my ways of doing that. These are my plans, using Faster Way to Fat Loss, eating plenty of protein, lifting those heavy weights. I would love to hear what you're doing if you have other ideas of ways to handle menopausal weight gain. And my final word on all of this, though, is I really do want to encourage you to make sure that you're working with your healthcare provider to make sure that you are safe and healthy during these years of your life, that you are working in a safe way to manage this weight gain that is almost inevitable, but not really, not if we do something about it. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm glad that you joined me for this sticky subject. I hope it has been painless. And you know what, we're all in this together. I hope you'll check with me at my blog. It's at dressformyday.com. Also connect with me on Instagram and Facebook. I would love that. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me hello and let me know where you're watching from. I'll see you again really soon. Bye now.